America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to accept tonight's agenda? All in favor? Okay, do you have any comments to start, or should I start with the student?
Why don't you start with student?
Okay, I'm going to call on our student rep. Jonah, would you like to give your report, please?
Okay, this week I have more of a brief report since last week we just had that. So Sabrina wanted me to say that the seniors had a nice time going down to Dow's Lane, having their Halloween parade, getting to read to the students. She said it was a very nice experience to go back there and just have connections with the students. And other than that, the Green Committee has a sort of a video contest for sorting resources in the cafeteria, which the deadline is tonight, I guess, for the final submissions. And they will turn that over, and then maybe they will have a TV in the cafeteria where this video will be displayed to help students know how to sort their waste. Other than that, it's the end of the marking period, so grades are due soon, and that'll be it for tonight.
Excellent. Thank you, Jonah. Moving on to committee reports. I could start with buildings and grounds. Since we just reported out recently, it's kind of a repeat, but we have state approval for the high school portions of the capital reserve use. Carol, correct me if I'm wrong on anything. And then in our last board meeting, we actually put the purchase order in for the lights. So we're moving right along, and we are currently out to bid with the electrical bid portion of that. Anything else to add, Ms. Snow? Nope. Okay. Curriculum.
Okay, we had a very busy curriculum meeting. Talked about authentic learning projects and working with Diane Cunningham, consultant K through 12. Another Cunningham, Katie Cunningham in literacy, small group instruction and data through arts and letters. We also talked about the ICT special education and the inclusive group. Restorative practices, music, world language, consultant, and also K through 12 music classes. We had a consultant on that. Am I getting that right? Okay. Let's see. And we talked about what was going to happen today during the professional learning and the high school schedule. That's that for curriculum. And I'll do wellness and sustainability. Carol went over the national lunch program that we're part of, which is, so she explained that. The cafeteria meal count comparison, the Wellness Committee Parent Survey we took a look at, updates on resource management, and then we had an open discussion. And then for CAB, we basically just did a brainstorming and broke into small groups to see how the students could raise money for CAB.
Thank you. Any update on policy?
Not since so we finished our work on the kindergarten age of entrance policy, which was approved last week. And we also looked at the admission of non-resident students, which is on the agenda for second read today. And that's it.
And I can also report out as a PTSA liaison, they had their general membership meeting last Thursday, which was very informative. If anyone missed it, there's a presentation in the PTSA newsletter that is definitely worth checking out. Okay, moving on to tonight's presentation on athletics. I'm going to call it John Bonanimo.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. Tonight, we're going to have an opportunity to share with you the continued growth and direction of our athletic programs. Tonight we'll be presenting what we've done over the past few years and look at how our athletic programs are building on character, confidence, and community through purpose-driven experiences. I do want to note that our athletic experiences are not devoid of establishing goals or trying to successfully achieve results. We are a results-driven society, and there's tremendous value to that. But only that our focus is in developing the character, skills, and purpose that leads to those successful results. I'm joined by 3 of our Student Athlete Advisory Committee members here, cabinet members. We have Kayla Clinton, we have Kylie Canton, and Anya Foley, who will share, how this work connects directly to their experiences and our district's portrait of a graduate. Our president, Nick Grados, unfortunately was not able to be here tonight. He had a conflict, so he won't be able to join us, but he is here with us in spirit. So I just wanted to start with our purpose, because this is what really drives everything that we do. Our purpose is really to enrich the school community, where our student athletes forge connections with each other and with others, and pursue individual and collective growth, to become well-rounded individuals. Through those inclusive athletic programs, we strive to instill character, confidence, and a sense of belonging in every athlete. It's also, in my mind, a co-curricular activity, not extracurricular. A lot of times we think of extracurricular as, after school, it's not part of the learning day. But in athletics, we do consider it to be an extension of the classroom, where character skills such as accountability, resilience, confidence, humility, respect, and encouragement are fostered on a daily basis.
I'm Kayla. I'm the vice president. I will also be presenting for Nick tonight because he cannot make it, but he is the president. At Irvington, we define success as more than just the scoreboard results of our standings. It's about how we compete, how we treat one another, and who we have become along the way. True success is when every student feels valued, supported, and empowered to contribute to the team and the larger community. We measure success through growth, connection, and belonging, outcomes that last long after our playing careers have ended.
So another thing that we've done to try to facilitate this culture is a partnership with Section 1, with the New York Giants and the Inside Out initiative, which continues to anchor the work that we do in the athletic department. Inside Out is a program where they believe and define sports as a human growth experience within the school community, focusing on the academic, social, and emotional well-being of every student athlete. Our coaches are challenged to reflect on 4 essential questions that really cause them to look deep inside themselves, to really answer the questions of, why do I coach? Why do they coach the way that they do? How does it feel to be coached by them? And then ultimately how they define success. These questions help guide us towards coaching with purpose, not just for performance.
The Irvington Athletic Council, or the IAC, plays an important role in shaping our programs. It's a collaborative group of athletes, parents, coaches, and district community leaders who review department policies, ensure alignment with the district's mission, and recommend improvements to the overall athletic experience. The IAC helps ensure that our focus is developing confidence, character-driven, and engaged student athletes, which remain central to every recommendation we make.
Hi, my name is Anya Foley. I am the secretary. The Student Athletic Advisory Committee, also known as the SAC, empowers students to lead and live our athletic purpose and values within the context of Irvington's Portrait of a Graduate. Our work focuses on multiple things, including being courageous learners who embrace challenges, as well as effective communicators who lead through listening and empathy, self-aware individuals who reflect and grow, and engaged citizens who support our teams and community. We've created student-led initiatives that bring these traits to life, from community service projects to peer mentorship and leadership workshops, including an Inside Out retreat to MetLife Stadium, which you can see here. Kayla and I actually attended it, and it was amazing. We worked on answering those 4 essential questions, and I definitely think it helped me grow as a leader in my personal, the teams that I play on in the athletics.
Hi, I'm Kylie and I'm the treasurer. So over the past year, we've made significant progress in connecting athletics to our district's vision. And some of our highlights include greater engagement of the entire athletic community through the Irvington Athletic Council, alignment of our core values, purpose, and definition of success. We also had a complete revision of the athletic handbook, which directly tied it to the portrait of a graduate. There was also purposeful professional development for our coaches, which was focused on character development, confidence building, and culture building, as well as increased student athlete engagement and leadership training through the SAC initiatives. And these efforts have strengthened our programs and helped us gain confidence both on and off the field. And personally, as a member of the varsity volleyball team, I can speak to the fact that our coaches made a lot of emphasis on confidence building, especially through we set specific goals through the beginning of the season and we worked towards them reflecting throughout the entire season to help ensure that confidence was one of our priorities the whole year.
So we're very proud of all the work that we've accomplished thus far, but we're also excited about what's next. So our upcoming goals include continuing professional development that focuses on character, confidence, culture, and community. Expanding student-led leadership opportunities through Student Athlete Advisory Committee. We also look to embed athlete reflection activities at the team level. I've been working with the Student Athlete Advisory Committee on building their ability to lead their programs through some of these initiatives. At our last meeting, we talked about culture building, and in this upcoming meeting that we're going to have, I believe it's later this month, we are actually going to have them work in groups on developing how they're going to actually embed this in their athletic programs going forward for the rest of the year. It's also, we're going to be looking at measuring growth through that student feedback and assessment. I ask all student athletes to please make sure that the surveys that I send out, that they fill out, they are anonymous. So you don't have to worry about getting back to your coach, but it's an opportunity to understand what your experience is through our athletic programs. So it's very important that, our athletes take part in that. These next steps will help ensure that our programs continue to evolve with purpose and center on student growth and well-being.
What makes Irvington Athletic special is not just about the playing, but about the belonging. We all learn how to be leaders, how to handle adversity, and how to communicate effectively, skills which we can carry with us through life.
We've grown as self-aware individuals who understand our strengths and as engaged citizens who care deeply about our community.
And we've learned that being a courageous learner means having the confidence to take risks, reflect, and keep improving every day.
And we really just want to thank you guys for all of your support, the support of our student athletes, our coaches, and our purpose-driven approach, because it is not something that's typically standard. Most programs will just focus on results. Again, we're not devoid of wanting to have positive results, but it's about how we get there and the preparation that it takes and the character that actually drives our preparation. So thank you again, because together, we're building confident, compassionate leaders, one practice, one conversation, and one season at a time. So thank you again for your support, and we're here to answer any questions that you may have regarding our athletic programs.
I just want to make a comment. Thank you, John, and thank you, ladies. In many places, the athletic council is driven largely by adults, whether they be parents and coaches led by the athletic director. I haven't had a chance to observe any of the meetings this year, but I did last year. And John really does a very excellent job at putting the students in charge of designing what the athlete experience should be here, and also focusing on, wins, but also what sportsmanship and the lessons in life that come from being part of a team teach you. So it's commendable that this is a very student-led athletic council, and I think it's to the benefit of our athletes and our community. So thank you, John.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I'm going to see if our trustees have questions. I'll go down the line.
Thank you so much. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I was interested when you talk about progress and impacts, like what could you share specific examples of how you increased
student engagement?
I personally attended. I'm just like quiet. I actually attended the Inside Out at MetLife Stadium, and when we brought it to the SAC and shared it with everyone and went through the same experiences, we came back to another meeting and had a lot of feedback. And personally, I'm a captain on 3 varsity sports, and I know that throughout my teams, the positivity and like the relationships between our teams have gone so much better. And like also like because we are so positive now, well, not that we weren't before, but like we're more positive now. I think like it just makes us like lighter and like less like driven just to like get ourselves better. Like we want to get better as a team.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely building off what Kayla said. I'd say this year especially we emphasize having just such a positive environment throughout all of our teams. And as like I was the captain of the varsity volleyball team, we we had 3 captains and we all focused on trying to emphasize not only having a strong community within our own team, but across all the other teams. So we would emphasize trying to attend other sports games and support everyone just to strengthen our Irvington athletic community as a whole.
I don't have much to add. I think both of those points were really good. I also attended the Inside Out retreat, and I definitely think that Irvington in general is really good at fostering good team spirit. Even if, you have that sectionals loss, you lose an important game against like your rival or whatever it is. I do think that we're always striving to improve as team members, as students, just in general. Like I think that we don't let that let us like get down because of it or anything. And we're always moving forward, which I think is really important. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I have a question that you might not have an answer to, but I'll throw it out there anyway. It just sounds like you've made a lot of progress towards this over the past year or so. And I'm just wondering, as you all participate in this, do you have like, oh, we could like become this, is there like some idea of like where you want it to grow, or how you can imagine Irvington can sort of become even better in this regard?
I mean, personally, I don't think that there's like an end goal that we're going for. I think we're just always trying to improve. And I know that like even through the sports and the teams that I'm not on, like they're all trying to improve and like have a better community within those teams. I can't really think of like an end goal. So yeah.
No, I just really appreciate the presentation. Very interesting. Thank you all.
Yeah, just a comment. I want to say thank you for giving the students the opportunity to do the Inside Out retreat. That sounds like it was really beneficial and really a great way to learn. So I know you worked really hard on that. And thanks for coming.
Yeah, it was a great opportunity for them to learn a process in which a lot of athletes don't have the opportunity to take part in, right? Because typically it's based off skill building, for the actual sport, not necessarily skills that are going to help them throughout their lives. And they did an amazing job when they came back, kind of reporting out to the remainder of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, which actually drove everyone to start to come up with their own like articles and things like that they kind of presented to the rest of the group, as far as what, different types of leadership skills. I think one was called Atomic Habits, which again is not necessarily just about athletics. It's about everything that we do. And then there was one with the about captainships and what it meant to be a captain and a leader of a program. So, them coming back, expressing what it meant to be not only on a team, but a teammate, I think was the key point and what we learned that evening or that day. And they did an amazing job. Really did.
Hi, thanks for coming today. Just one quick question. Based on that experience, is there another leadership conference or event that student athletes will be attending later this year or more next year? Seemed like it
Yeah, so there's actually up in section 9 up in Newburgh, there is going to be an opportunity a little bit later this year where we could bring some student athletes up there for some more leadership training. A lot of what we're doing in the Student Athlete Advisory Committee now, like, I'm sure, to be honest, there's a lot of times I do a lot of talking and it's because I'm trying to equip them with the skills to be able to bring back. So this year is going to be that focus now, that, I was able to present to them what I did with the coaches this year at the start of the season about building positive culture and what that actually looks like. And they've done an amazing job modeling it. Now I want them to be able to go back to their programs and actually teach their teammates on what it means to be, positive, what a positive culture looks like and how they achieve a culture that will drive them to more success.
Thanks. I know Jonah has a lot of questions.
You did an
Again-
amazing job announcing the game the other day, though. You helped me out.
Very informative. Thank you. Nice presentation.
Thank you. I just have one question, and you may not know the exact number, but how many of our students are actually athletes? Like roughly?
So I actually just worked on something like this and we're around 47%,
So almost half the school.
of not, so that's individual athletes. That percentage would actually go up when we count our multi-sport athletes. So if
Got
the
it.
kids are playing more than one sport, we're definitely over 50%. Probably closer, I believe between the 2-sport and 3-sport athletes that we have, I believe it was close to 70%.
I thought it was 70 something. Okay, that's a big reach, so.
A lot of student athletes and for me, it's actually something that's quite remarkable. I mean, we have become a little more selective than we have in the past as far as our programs to make sure that our student athletes have opportunities to compete and have a fair opportunity, within their games. So there has been a little bit more of a selection when it comes to the tryout process at some of the upper levels. But the one thing that has been amazing about it is that we still have a lot of athletes. We've had more programs thanks to you, Ms. Stein funding some of the programs to try to provide more opportunities for all of our athletes, but especially our female athletes. There weren't as many opportunities as far as participation goes, but over the past couple of years, we've been able to enact flag football. We've been able to add gymnastics, ski program, thanks to the Board of Education and the community support there as well. We've also added opportunities for some of our students who do not typically have opportunities through the unified athletic programs, which was unified flag football and unified basketball. I know Kayla's taken part in some of the basketball in the past and helped out. And it's just a great opportunity to have student athletes, across the district be able to work with each other and opportunities that they don't necessarily have. And having, Ms. Berninaus and Ms. Kenny be a part of the student athlete or the Irvington Athletic Council has been great too, because you guys have provided a lot of great feedback that we've been able to embed into our programs.
Thank you. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but if you leave, none of us will be offended. So thank you for coming.
Thank you, guys.
We're moving on to our first community comments period. Seeing no one here, I will move on to policy. So we now have our second reading and adoption of the revised policy for the non-resident students. Any questions or comments or any further? You kind of already discussed it when you did your policy update. Do trustees have any questions or comments on the policy? All in favor of adopting the policy? Any opposed? None? Okay, very well. Now we're on to our consent agenda. Do trustees have any questions or comments on anything under consent? No. Do you have a motion to accept the consent agenda? I didn't hear the second. Okay, thank you. We're all very quiet tonight. All in favor? Okay, Dr. Vitesek, any comments?
Yes, just a few. Tonight you have accepted the resignation of 3 very special teachers in Irvington. Tricia Lyson, who is a math teacher at the high school, Christopher Barry, a social studies teacher at the high school, and Jacqueline Richardson, the library media specialist at the middle and high school. So we'll have plenty of opportunity to celebrate them as the year goes on, but I do want to acknowledge their decision to retire and thank them for their years of service to the Irvington school district. I'd also like to announce that Joan Burns, who did retire, is coming back as a leave replacement, which is always nice to see. She will be joining us in December through the last half of the year as a reading teacher. And lastly, I want to acknowledge a donation to the Robotics Club in the amount of $300, $100 from the Galano family, and $200 from Hastings Compost. So thank you for those donations to support the Robotics Club. One announcement that is not on the agenda, but I would like to bring to the community's attention is last week in the week in Irvington, we did make mention of the neighboring food pantries. If any families have lost SNAP benefits or are in need, we've given addresses and phone numbers for the pantry in Sleepy Hollow, Dobbs Ferry, and Hastings. Those families are also encouraged to reach out to our social workers, Gina Menendez for the elementary school level and Catherine O'Sullivan for the middle and high school level, or of course, your child's teacher or your building principal, and we will get them connected to the resources that are available.
Thank you. We're on to our second community comments period. And since no one was here, I will move on and announce that our next public meeting will be here in the campus presentation room on Tuesday, November 18th at 7:30 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.